Far across the South Pacific, immense blue water surrounds tiny islands separated from the nearest major cities by hundreds or even thousands of kilometers. From above, they can look idyllic: green mountains, rugged coastlines and small settlements almost disappearing into the ocean. Pitcairn Island is one of the most isolated inhabited islands on Earth. Steep volcanic cliffs rise from deep blue Pacific water, while a tiny community lives among tropical vegetation high above the coastline. There is no airport here, and no conventional supermarket filled with endless aisles of fresh food and household supplies. Almost everything that cannot be produced locally must complete an extraordinary journey across the ocean before residents can use it. That changes the meaning of shopping completely. Forgetting an ingredient isn't solved by driving 10 minutes to another store, because the replacement may still be sitting in a warehouse thousands of kilometers away. The journey begins far beyond Pitcairn itself. Food, fuel, household goods and replacement equipment must first reach the vessels capable of carrying supplies across one of the largest stretches of ocean on the planet. As the island finally appears on the horizon, another challenge begins. Pitcairn has no large commercial harbor where an ocean-going supply vessel can simply dock and unload beside warehouses. Smaller boats become the connection between ship and shore. Cargo must be transferred across open water before reaching the island, making calm seas and suitable weather part of the supply chain. When Pacific swells become too powerful, schedules lose their authority. The same ocean that gives Pitcairn its spectacular isolation can delay the arrival of things that mainland communities expect to find available every day. This makes planning essential long before supplies begin running low. Rice, flour, canned foods and other long-lasting staples can be stored so households aren't completely dependent on the timing of the next delivery. Freezers expand those possibilities further. Meat and other foods can remain available between shipments, provided the electricity supporting refrigeration remains reliable in an environment where replacement equipment is difficult to obtain quickly. But imported food is only part of the story. Pitcairn's subtropical climate allows residents to grow fruit and vegetables, turning gardens and fertile volcanic soil into an important extension of the household pantry. Bananas, citrus fruits and other crops can grow across the island's green interior. What comes from the land reduces dependence on cargo while adding fresh food that would be difficult to transport across such enormous distances. The surrounding Pacific provides another local resource. Fishing can bring fresh seafood directly from waters around the island, connecting everyday meals with an ocean that otherwise makes life here so logistically complicated. Together, gardens, stored provisions and locally caught food create a very different relationship with groceries. Instead of expecting every ingredient to be permanently available, households work with what is already on the island and what can be replenished locally. Fresh water requires planning too. On an isolated island without the enormous water infrastructure of a mainland city, rainfall becomes an especially valuable resource for households. Rain falling across roofs can be collected and stored in tanks for later use. Suddenly a tropical downpour isn't simply weather, it is part of the system that allows everyday life to continue. Storage therefore becomes one of the hidden foundations of remote island living. Pantries, freezers, water tanks and fuel reserves provide buffers between the community and a supply chain measured in ocean crossings rather than delivery vans. Even ordinary household products take on greater importance when replacements are distant. Cleaning supplies, toiletries, batteries and other essentials are easier to appreciate when buying another one tomorrow isn't guaranteed. That encourages a different attitude toward waste and consumption. Things that might be casually replaced elsewhere can be maintained, reused or kept longer because every new item carries the cost and complexity of reaching the island. And when a supply vessel finally appears beyond Pitcairn's cliffs, it represents far more than another delivery. Across that stretch of Pacific water comes the food, fuel, equipment and everyday necessities that help one of the world's most isolated communities remain connected to life beyond the horizon. That connection with the outside world reaches far beyond food. Electricity, fuel, medicine, communications and even the smallest replacement part become part of the same logistical puzzle created by living in the middle of the Pacific. Electricity changes what isolation can look like. Refrigerators preserve food, lights extend the evening, and modern appliances allow homes on a tiny island to function in ways that would have been impossible generations ago. But electricity must still be produced locally. Solar energy can reduce dependence on imported fuel, while generators and batteries provide another layer of support when reliable power matters for homes, refrigeration and essential equipment. Fuel itself has to reach the island from somewhere else. Every liter that arrives has already crossed an enormous distance, making energy another resource that cannot simply be treated as endlessly available. Then there is the opposite problem: what happens after everything has been used? Packaging, broken appliances and unwanted materials cannot disappear into a vast mainland waste system because there is no neighboring city waiting to collect them. Remote island living therefore encourages a different relationship with possessions. Equipment is worth maintaining, containers can find second uses, and something that appears disposable elsewhere may remain useful for years. That becomes especially important when machinery breaks. A damaged pump, generator component or vehicle part can create a problem that would normally be solved by ordering a replacement for delivery within days. On Pitcairn, that replacement may have an ocean voyage ahead of it. Maintenance, improvisation and keeping spare parts available become practical ways of reducing dependence on a supply chain that cannot respond instantly. Medicine introduces a more important kind of planning. Routine prescriptions and basic medical supplies need to remain available even when weather or transport delays the next connection with the outside world. More serious medical needs reveal the true scale of the island's isolation. Treatment that would require a short drive in a city can involve complicated transport arrangements when the nearest major facilities lie far across the Pacific. Yet modern communications have changed isolation dramatically. Internet and satellite connections can allow people living on a tiny island to speak with family, access information and communicate with the outside world almost instantly. It creates an extraordinary contrast. Physically, Pitcairn remains one of Earth's most remote communities, while digitally the distance between the island and another continent can disappear in seconds. The sea, however, still controls the movement of physical things. No internet connection can download food, fuel, medicine or a replacement engine part when those items must actually cross thousands of kilometers of ocean. Weather can therefore rearrange plans with little concern for schedules. Powerful swells around Pitcairn's steep coastline can make small boat operations difficult, leaving residents waiting until conditions become suitable again. On calmer days, the island's isolation feels completely different. Deep blue water surrounds dramatic volcanic cliffs while tropical vegetation covers slopes rising above an ocean with almost no other land visible. There are no sprawling suburbs beyond the next hill and no motorway leading toward another city. The community occupies a tiny piece of land surrounded by a Pacific horizon that seems almost endless in every direction. That scale helps explain why self-reliance matters so much. Growing food, storing supplies, maintaining equipment and planning ahead aren't unusual survival exercises here, they are ordinary parts of making remote life work. But focusing only on inconvenience would miss what residents receive in return. Traffic, crowded shopping districts and endless urban noise are replaced by open ocean, green hillsides and a community small enough for isolation to feel deeply personal. Living here changes the meaning of convenience. Food, fuel, medicine and replacement parts become things to plan for, while resources that arrive easily elsewhere become more valuable because of the journey required to obtain them. And perhaps that is the great contradiction of remote island life. Everyday living can demand extraordinary preparation, yet it unfolds in a place where the Pacific begins at your doorstep and the rest of the world feels impossibly far away.